3 days later, Kate stood before the fully recovered queen in the Great Hall. The entire court watched as the human received the Stellar Shield, the highest honor in the Zeltharane Empire. The human alliance has been questioned by many, Vixara announced, her voice carrying through the vast chamber. But this human saw what our own could not. Because she was different. Because she brought new eyes to our world. She saved not just my life, but the future of peace between our peoples. Kate bowed, accepting the honor. The differences between us are our greatest strength. Your Majesty. The ceremony concluded with traditional Zeltharane music sounds that reminded Kate of crystal bells and distant thunder. As the court dispersed, a tall male Zeltharane approached. His scales were deep blue with gold markings indicating royal lineage. I am Prince Zoran, brother to Queen Vixara. He introduced himself. His voice was deeper than most Zeltharane Kate had met. I wish to thank you personally for saving my sister Kate, bowed slightly as was customary when addressing royalty. It was my duty and honor, Your Highness. The prince studied her with keen interest. You must join me for the evening meal. I wish to learn more about humans and your unique perspectives that night. Kate dined in a private royal chamber with Prince Zoran. The food was a careful mix of Zeltharane delicacies and Earth cuisine. The prince was surprisingly knowledgeable about human customs. You are the first of your kind to truly understand our ways, Prince Zoran commented. Many thought the alliance was a mistake. Many still do. Kate replied honestly. I hear the whispers. Even though they think I don't understand your language. The prince nodded, his scales rippling with approval. You are observant. This will serve you well, Kate Mason. He leaned forward. There are factions that oppose my sister not just because of the human alliance but because she is female. Many believe only males should rule. Kate remembered her briefing on Zeltharane politics. The empire had been traditionally patriarchal until Queen Vixara ascended the throne after her father's death. She was the first female ruler in 3 centuries. The next morning, Kate was summoned to the queen's private study Vixara was examining. Holographic star charts when Kate entered. You have impressed my brother, the queen said without looking up. He rarely takes interest in outsiders. Kate remained silent, waiting for the queen to continue. I have a task for you, Vixara turned her golden eyes intense. In 3 days, representatives from all Zeltharane noble houses will gather for the Celestial Council. The first since my poisoning. I believe another attempt may be made, not just on my life, but to destabilize the human alliance. What would you have me do, Your Majesty? Kate asked, become my shadow. Vixara replied, you will attend all meetings, all functions as my personal guard. Your presence will unsettle those who plot against me. And your human senses may detect what ours cannot, Kate, bowed, understanding the honor and danger of this assignment. That afternoon, Kate began intensive training with Talara, learning more about Zeltharane physiology and poisons. The physician had become an ally, though still somewhat reserved around the human. The noble houses have ancient feuds, Talara explained, some dating back thousands of years. House Mekvar is only one of several that oppose the queen. Kate absorbed the information, memorizing the scale patterns and markings that identified each noble house. Their culture was complex, with subtle indicators of satisfaction and intent, visible in the way they arranged their scales and selected their adornments. Later, Kate met with the head of Royal Security, Commander Vex. His scales were scarred from many battles and his left eye was cybernetic, a rare modification among the appearance-conscious Zeltharane. You detected what my best guards missed, Vex stated. There was no accusation in his tone, merely fact. I wish to understand how. Kate considered her answer carefully. Humans evolved as pattern recognition specialists. We notice things that seem out of place even when we don't know why they catch our attention. The commander nodded. You will join the security briefings beginning tomorrow. The Celestial Council brings many risks, many opportunities for enemies to strike. That night, Kate reviewed everything she had learned about Zeltharane politics. The attempted poisoning had shaken the power structure. But who stood to gain the most from the Queen's death? Her brother Prince Zoran was the obvious successor, but he seemed genuinely devoted to Vixara. And there were other contenders. Distant cousins from branch bloodlines who could make claims. Kate felt the weight of her responsibility. The alliance between humans and the Zeltharain was fragile, barely a year old. If the Queen died under her watch, it would likely collapse. The consequences would be devastating. Earth needed the advanced technology and protection the Zeltharain offered. Against other less friendly alien species, as she prepared for sleep, Kate noticed a small object on her pillow. A scaled flower, the royal emblem of House Zoran. The prince's house. A warning or a message. Kate wasn't sure. But one thing was certain, the game of power had only just begun. The towering spires of the Zeltharain palace gleamed under the twin moons as Kate Mason adjusted her uniform. She was the first human ever assigned to the royal guard of Queen Vixara. The assignment was considered both an honor and a test of the newly formed alliance between Earth and the mighty Zeltharain Empire. Kate walked the midnight patrol route, her boots making soft sounds on the polished crystal floor. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent scales and graceful movements. Kate still felt small among them despite her athletic build and military training. She had been chosen for this role due to her quick thinking and diplomatic skills during first contact. The human guard stopped near the royal chambers, hearing a strange sound from within, something between a gasp and a hiss. Kate hesitated. Protocol stated that no one should enter without permission, but her instincts screamed that something was wrong. Kate pressed her hand against the biometric scanner, surprised, when it glowed green, giving her access. The Queen must have added her prince to the security system. The heavy doors slid open, revealing the opulent chamber. Beyond, Queen Vixara lay crumpled on the floor, her normally brilliant scales dulled to an ashen gray. Kate rushed forward, kneeling beside the fallen monarch. Vixara was breathing, but barely. The human tapped her communication device. No response. Kate checked again. The device was working, but no signal was getting through. Something was blocking communications in the royal chamber. This was not a coincidence. Looking around, Kate noticed tiny droplets of blue liquid on the Queen's personal chalice. She remembered her briefing. The royal family had enemies within the court. The human guard carefully collected a sample of the liquid using a small evidence kit she carried in her utility belt, standard procedure for diplomatic security. Personnel. Kate needed to get help, but leaving the Queen seemed dangerous. She scanned the room for anything useful, spotting a small panel near the royal bed. It looked like an internal communication system. Kate pressed it, hoping to reach someone trustworthy. Palace physician. Talara answered her scales, a soft pink color signifying her medical status. I need help. In the royal chamber, Kate spoke clearly. The Queen has collapsed. How did a human enter the royal chamber? The physician sounded suspicious. The Queen granted me access. Kate explained. I found her unconscious, and my external communications are blocked. Talara was silent for a moment. I will come, but tell no one else while waiting. Kate examined the Queen's symptoms. Her pulse was erratic, even for Zeltharain physiology, and a strange pattern was spreading across her scales. Kate recognized it from her xenobiology, training, the signature of a rare toxin called Shazrik, found only on the Zeltharain homeworld. The door slid open and Talara entered, followed by 2 royal guards. Their hands hovered near their weapons. Explain yourself, human. One guard demanded. Kate stood slowly, hands visible. The Queen appears to have been poisoned, I believe, with Shazrik. Talara hissed in surprise. How would a human know of Shazrik? I studied your biology and culture before accepting this post. Kate explained calmly, then pointed to the blue droplets. I found this residue on her drinking vessel. Talara knelt, examining the Queen. The physician scanned the liquid with a small device, her eyes widening. You are correct, human. This is Shazrik poisoning. We must act quickly. While Talara worked, Kate noticed one of the guards shifting nervously. His scales flickered in a pattern that indicated stress or guilt, according to her training. His hand moved toward an inner pocket stop. Kate commanded. The guard froze. She pointed to his pocket. What do you have there? The guard hissed. Show respect, human. Kate stood firm. No one carries unauthorized items in the royal chamber. Show us what you have. Talara looked up from treating the queen. The human is correct. Mekvar. Reluctantly, the guard named. Mekvar revealed a small vial with the same blue liquid. The other guard immediately restrained him. How did you know? Kate asked the physician. I did not. Talara admitted. Your human intuition saved our queen. Mekvar is from a rival house that has opposed the human alliance. As Queen Vixara's scales began regaining their luster, she opened her golden eyes. Kate Mason, she whispered, you have proven what I believed about humans. Your species notices what we have become blind to through centuries of tradition. The Celestial Council began with a procession through the capital city. Kate walked 3 steps behind Queen Vixara, watching the crowds for any sign of threat. The queen's scales glittered magnificently in the morning light, patterns of royal purple and gold shifting with her movements. Kate noticed subtle differences in how the crowds responded to their queen. Some districts cheered wildly, while others maintained a respectful but cool silence. Kate mapped these reactions mentally, identifying potential hotspots of discontent. The Grand Council chamber was an enormous dome with seating arranged in 7 tiers. Each noble house had its designated section with colors and emblems displayed prominently. Kate recognized House Mekvar, their section, noticeably empty after the poisoning attempt. Its remaining members would be under investigation for some time. Queen Vixara took her place on the central platform, Kate standing vigilantly nearby. As the proceedings began, Kate studied the gathered nobles, taking note of their reactions to the queen's proposals for expanded trade with Earth. Kate noticed a female Zeltharane from House Lyrax, watching her intently. Unlike the others who pretended to ignore the human guard, this one made no attempt to hide her interest. When their eyes met, the female made a subtle gesture with her hand, a movement Kate recognized from her cultural training as an invitation to speak. During the first recess, Kate reported this to the queen. Solara Lyrax is an interesting case, Vixara explained. House Lyrax has historically remained neutral in most conflicts. They are scholars and record keepers with little interest in political power, but they observe everything. See what she wants, but reveal nothing of importance. Kate found Solara in the garden courtyard during the break. The Zeltharane female was taller than most, with scales of deep emerald green patterned with intricate silver markings. You are not what I expected, Solara said without introduction. You lack the arrogance typical of your species. Kate maintained a neutral expression. I try to represent humanity well. Solara made a sound like chiming bells, which Kate recognized as laughter. My house has studied your kind since first contact. We find humans fascinating, such a young species yet so adaptable. You see patterns where we see only tradition. What do you want from me? Kate asked directly. Information flows both ways. Human, Solara replied. I have something you should know. 3 houses have formed a secret alliance against the queen. Not for her progressive politics as they claim, but because they fear what she has seen in the void. Kate kept her expression neutral, but her mind raced. The void was what Zeltharane called deep space beyond their territory. It was rarely mentioned in diplomatic meetings before Kate could ask more. A chime sounded, signaling the end of recess. As they walked back to the chamber, Solara whispered, They will move against her tonight during the lunar feast. Watch the eastern entrance. The lunar feast was the ceremonial dinner held on the final night of the council. Kate immediately reported Solara's warning to both the queen and Commander Vex doubled the guards at all entrances, especially the eastern one. Kate remained at the queen's side throughout the afternoon sessions, observing every interaction Vixara participated in. The tension in the chamber was palpable, with political maneuvering happening in every conversation. As evening approached, Kate accompanied the queen to her chambers to prepare for the feast. Vixara seemed unworried by the warning. The Lyrax always know more than they share. The queen commented as her attendants dressed her in ceremonial robes. But they rarely choose sides. If Solara warned you, it means the threat is serious enough to disrupt their precious balance. The lunar feast was held in a massive hall with walls of transparent crystal, providing views of the twin moons. Kate noticed additional guards stationed throughout, but kept her focus on the guests, particularly those from the houses Solara had indirectly implicated. Midway through the feast, a commotion erupted at the eastern entrance. Kate immediately moved closer to the Queen, hand on her weapon. A group of delegates from House Tarvek were arguing with the guards about a ceremonial object they wished to bring in. A distraction, Kate realized. She scanned the room and spotted movement above. In the ornate ceiling decorations, something shifted. Kate drew her weapon and fired in one fluid motion. A cry of pain followed as a camouflaged figure fell from the rafters, landing heavily on an empty table. The room erupted in chaos. Guards swarmed the fallen assassin while Kate hurried the Queen to safety. A hidden passage behind the throne led to a secure room where they waited as the situation was contained. "You saw what our guards did not again," Vixara said, her voice calm despite the attempt on her life. "How their camouflage technology is designed to fool Zeltharain. Vision," Kate explained. "It bends light at frequencies your species perceives, but human eyes work differently. We see a wider color spectrum in some areas." The Queen studied Kate with newfound respect. "You continue to prove your value human." Later that night, when security had been restored, Commander Vex reported to them the assassin was from House Narix, hired by 3 houses working together. He confirmed Solaris' warning, and the object that House Tarvek attempted to bring in Kate asked, "A ceremonial," Staff Vex replied, "but modified to release a gas harmful only to the royal bloodline. It would have affected both the Queen and Prince Zoran." Kate thought about the implications. The conspiracy was larger than they had initially believed. This was not just about opposing the human alliance or even female leadership. Something else was driving these houses to such desperate measures. What did Solara mean about the void? Kate asked the Queen when they were alone. Vixara was silent for a long moment. "Before I took the throne, I led an exploration mission to the far reaches of our territory. What I found there changed me, changed how I saw our place in the galaxy." She looked directly at Kate. "There are threats coming. Threats that neither of our species can face alone. That is why the alliance is so important and why some fear it." The Celestial Council concluded with unexpected unity. The assassination attempt had shocked many of the noble houses into supporting the Queen. Those still opposing her had become more cautious, hiding their true intentions behind masks of loyalty. Kate found herself elevated to the position of Royal Guardian, the first non-Zeltharain to hold such a title. Her duties expanded beyond mere protection. She was now advisor and confidant to the Queen. Prince Zoran had championed her appointment, surprising many court observers. 2 months after the council, Kate accompanied Queen Vixara on a diplomatic mission to Earth. It was the Queen's first visit to the human homeworld, and security concerns were high. The royal ship landed at the neutral territory of New Geneva, where world leaders gathered to meet the alien monarch. Kate stood proudly as Vixara addressed the United Earth Council, her translator conveying the Queen's elegant speech about mutual prosperity and shared defense. Kate noticed how the Queen had adapted her speaking style for human ears. Shorter sentences, fewer symbolic references, and more concrete examples. During the reception afterward, Kate overheard conversations among Earth officials. Some expressed concern about becoming too dependent on Zeltharain technology. Others worried about cultural contamination. Kate made mental notes to share with the Queen. Later, Ambassador Lily Rogers approached Kate with a warm smile. The two had trained together before Kate was selected for the Royal Guard assignment. "Quite a change from basic training," Lily remarked. "They say you're the most influential human in the Empire." Now Kate shook her head. "The Queen values outside perspective, that's all." Lily lowered her voice. "Some people back home are nervous about how close you've become to the Queen. They worry about divided loyalties." Kate maintained her diplomatic composure. "My loyalty is to peace and cooperation between our species. The best interests of Earth and Zelthar are aligned, even if not everyone sees that yet." Later that evening, in the secure diplomatic quarters, Kate briefed Queen Vixara on the conversations she'd overheard. The Queen listened attentively, her scales shifting in thoughtful patterns. "The same fears exist among my people," Vixara commented. "Fear of change, fear of difference. But we cannot let fear guide our decisions, not with what awaits in the void. Kate had heard references to the void several times, but the Queen had never fully explained her discovery. There. The diplomatic mission to Earth provided the perfect opportunity to learn more. What exactly did you find in the void? Your Majesty, Kate asked directly. I cannot serve you fully without understanding what we're facing. The Queen was silent for a long moment, her scales darkening with emotion. What I found was evidence of a cycle. Vixara finally said, advanced civilizations rising and then vanishing completely. Every 30,000 years, something or someone has been systematically eliminating spacefaring cultures. The pattern is unmistakable. Kate felt a chill despite the comfortable temperature of the room. Are you saying there's an advanced hostile species out there? Not a species, Vixara corrected. A machine intelligence, ancient and patient. It hibernates for millennia, then awakens to harvest advanced organic life. I found the remnants of its last cycle. Planets stripped of resources, populations disappeared without explanation. If this threat is real, why not tell everyone? Kate asked, wouldn't that unite both our peoples? Fear can unite, but it can also paralyze, Vixara explained. Some would deny the threat, others would panic. Many would demand we break all contact with other species and hide. But isolation will not save us. Only cooperation and shared technology offer hope for survival. The next day included a tour of Earth's defense headquarters. Kate noticed how carefully human officials controlled what technology was shown to the Queen. The trust between species remained fragile. During a private moment, Prince Zoran, who had accompanied the delegation, spoke to Kate. My sister trusts you more than any of our kind. He said, his tone serious. She has shared with you what few others know about the void. Kate confirmed. Zoran nodded, his scales rippling with concern. There is more. The threat, she discovered, it has awakened sooner than the historical cycle suggested. Our deep space monitoring stations have gone silent one by one. Something is methodically testing our defenses. Kate processed this alarming information. Why tell me this now? The prince studied her with his intense gaze. Because my sister believes humans are the key. Some quality in your species, your adaptability, your pattern, recognition, your unpredictability, may provide the advantage we need. And because you specifically have proven yourself different from other humans, you see beyond your own perspective. That night, Kate couldn't sleep. The enormity of what she'd learned weighed heavily on her. She stood at the window of her quarters looking at the lights of New Geneva. Earth seemed so fragile, so unprepared for what might be coming. A soft chime indicated someone at her door. Kate was surprised to find Silara Lyrax, the Zeltharain scholar. We must speak privately, Silara said, her scales showing patterns of urgent concern. Inside, with security protocols activated, Silara revealed a small device that projected a holographic star map. My house has been tracking anomalies at the edge of charted space, she explained. Something is coming, yes, but what the Queen found is only part of the truth. House Lyrax has records dating back before our written history stories passed down of the last cycle. The hologram shifted, showing an ancient Zeltharain temple with wall carvings. Kate leaned closer, fascinated by the imagery. The carvings depicted tall humanoid figures fighting alongside Zeltharain warriors against mechanical, tentacled creatures. What am I seeing? Kate asked. Evidence that humans or beings very similar to your species were here during the last cycle, Silara explained. Our oldest legends speak of Skywalkers who came when the destroyers awakened, allies who fought beside us, then vanished. Kate stared at the ancient images, her mind racing with implications. If humans or human-like beings had fought alongside Zeltharain thousands of years ago, where had they gone afterward? And how did that connect to the present alliance? There is a prophecy, Silara continued. The joined hands of scale and skin will turn back the tide of darkness. Prophecies are rarely literal, Kate commented, thinking practically. Silara made the chiming sound of Zeltharain laughter. Indeed. But sometimes symbolic truth guides us to actual truth. House Lyrax believes this is why Queen Vixara was drawn to ally with humans. She sensed the connection before understanding it, and the houses that oppose her. Kate asked, "Do they know about this?" "Some do," Silara confirmed. "They believe mixing with humans will weaken us. They fear the change your kind brings, and others worship the destroyers, believing them to be gods who will elevate the worthy." 1 year after the Earth diplomatic mission, Kate stood on the observation deck of the royal flagship Stellar Vanguard. The massive vessel represented the pinnacle of Zeltharane technology enhanced with human innovations. A joint fleet of Earth and Zeltharane ships traveled in formation around them. The first combined defense force in the history of either species, Queen Vixara entered the deck, her royal robes replaced by practical battle armor. Her scales gleamed with determination. Kate bowed slightly in greeting. "The reports from the outer beacons confirm our fears," Vixara said without preamble. "The mechanical entities have entered our solar system. They will reach the colony on Zelth Minor within days." The colony housed nearly 1,000,000 civilians, both Zeltharane and the first human settlers. The evacuation had begun, but would take time they didn't have. "The fleet is ready," Kate assured her. "Our combined tactics have proven effective in simulations." "Simulations are not reality," Vixara noted, "but I trust in what we have built together." She turned to face Kate directly. "You have served as my guardian for nearly 2 years. Now I ask you to serve in a different capacity." Before Kate could ask what the Queen meant, the ship's commander announced a transmission from the lead scout vessel. The holographic display activated, showing a grim-faced human captain. "Your Majesty, we have visual confirmation," she reported. Behind her, the screen showed the approaching threat. Kate felt her breath catch. Massive squid-like machines, each the size of a small moon, moved with deliberate purpose, their metallic tentacles extending for miles. Some appeared damaged evidence of ancient battles, yet they moved with precise coordination. "How many?" Kate asked. "We count 37 capital-class entities," the captain replied, "and hundreds of smaller support units. They are not responding to communication attempts in any known language." The Queen studied the images with calm resolve. "Not surprising, they do not wish to communicate, only to harvest. Send the final evacuation order to Zelth Minor. Prepare the fleet for engagement. Later in the War Council." Kate listened as human and Zeltharane commanders debated strategy. Their cultural differences created tension but also sparked innovative approaches. Prince Zoran, now Admiral of the Royal Navy, argued for direct confrontation, while the human generals favored hit-and-run tactics. Kate studied the tactical displays, noticing a pattern in how the machines moved. They maintained specific formations regardless of obstacles or resistance. There was an underlying logic to their movements, something mathematical. Kate requested access to all sensor data collected on the machine entities. She spent hours analyzing the information while the fleet moved into defensive positions. The colonial evacuation continued, ships loaded with civilians departing for the safety of Central Worlds. On the eve of battle, Kate requested an audience with Queen Vixara, Prince Zoran, and the Joint Command Staff. She had discovered something critical. The machines operate on a predictable algorithm. Kate explained, projecting her findings. Their movements follow a mathematical sequence based on prime numbers. They appear to be coordinating, but they're actually following predetermined patterns. The military leaders exchanged glances. "What advantage does this give us?" asked General Sato of the Earth Forces. "They can't adapt quickly to the unexpected." Kate explained. "Their reactions are powerful but rigid. If we can disrupt their pattern recognition systems, we can create confusion in their ranks." "How do we accomplish this?" Prince Zoran questioned. Kate smiled. "By combining our technologies in ways they won't predict. Zeltharane, phasing technology with Earth quantum disruption fields. The machines encountered our species separately in previous cycles. They have no template for how we work together. The battle began at dawn ship time. The machine entities approached with overwhelming force. The first wave of smaller units attacked the colony defense grid, while the larger entities held back, analyzing. The combined fleet executed Kate's strategy. The Zeltharane vessels created phasing fields that made their ships appear to multiply. The human vessels projected quantum disruption that scrambled the machine's targeting systems. The result was immediate confusion in the enemy ranks. Kate watched from the command center as the battle unfolded. The machines attempted to adapt their patterns shifting and reforming. But each time they established a new formation, the Allied fleet changed tactics, exploiting the brief moments of confusion. "We are causing damage, but not enough," Queen Vixara observed. "They are learning, albeit slowly. We need something more decisive." Kate studied the tactical display, noticing how the largest machine entity remained protected at the center of their formation. It coordinated the others like a queen in a hive. There she pointed. "If we can disable that, the others might become disorganized. A suicide mission," Prince Zoran commented. "Our largest weapons cannot penetrate its defenses." Kate considered the problem. "There is another way. The royal yacht is small enough to avoid detection, especially with the phasing technology. And it carries the experimental fusion core. The experimental technology combined Zeltharane energy, manipulation with human nuclear fusion theory. It was powerful but unstable, too dangerous for regular use. I will pilot it," Kate stated firmly. The Queen and Prince both began to object, but Kate continued. "This is why you brought me into your service. Your Majesty, you saw something in humans that your people needed, my ability to see patterns, to think differently. This is that." Hours later, Kate guided the royal yacht through the chaos of battle. The small vessel slipped between massive combatants, its advanced stealth systems and Kate's unpredictable piloting, keeping it hidden from the machine intelligence. The target loomed ahead, a colossal mechanical entity controlling the others. Kate activated the final approach sequence. The fusion core hummed behind her, growing unstable as planned. The yacht would become a weapon, one that combined technologies the machines had never encountered together. As she prepared for the final run, Kate sent a last message to the fleet. To Queen Vixara and Prince Zoran, to the combined forces fighting for both their species. "The differences between us are our greatest strength," she transmitted. "Remember that, build on it." Kate accelerated toward the central processing node of the machine entity. The yacht penetrated the outer defenses before being detected. Alarms blared as mechanical tentacles reached for the small vessel, but it was too late. The fusion core detonated, creating a cascading reaction that rippled through the machine entity. From the command ship, Queen Vixara watched as the master machine faltered. Its coordination signals ceased. The remaining machines fell into disarray, some colliding with each other, others retreating in random directions. The combined fleet pressed their advantage, destroying or disabling the confused enemy forces. The battle was not the end of the war. They all knew that. But it was the first significant victory against a threat that had culled civilizations for countless millennia. 1 month later, Queen Vixara stood before a memorial on the royal palace grounds, a statue of Kate Mason, human guardian of the Queen, savior of 2 species. The inscription read in both human and Zeltharane languages, "She saw what we could not together." Prince Zoran joined his sister. Both wore the traditional purple of mourning. Their scales dulled in respect. She knew she would not return, the prince said. Vixara nodded. She understood the prophecy better than we did, the joined hands of scale and skin. Her sacrifice showed us the way forward. The alliance between humans and Zeltharane grew stronger in the years that followed. Research outposts studied the disabled machine entities, learning their weaknesses. Defensive networks spread through both species' territories, and somewhere beyond known space, the remaining machines adapted, learning from their defeat. But so too did the united. Species adapt, understanding that their differences were indeed their greatest strength. The pattern recognition of humans combined with the technological mastery of Zeltharane created innovations neither would have discovered alone, and on 100 worlds, children of both species learned the story of Kate Mason, the human who saw what others could not, the guardian who became a bridge between worlds, the hero who proved that sometimes our greatest strength lies in how we differ, not in how we are the same.